So, two things to start out this video. One, if you hear any wind or rain and stuff, that's we have some pretty, I don't want to say big storms, but we do have a storm coming through here, so I apologize for that. And two, this video might be a day late and dollar short, but there's good reason as to why. I had to work today, and I literally got 2 hours of sleep, and when I got home, I just crashed. I 100% crashed. So, wasn't able to record it immediately. So, I'm slowly but surely going to get back into the groove, and I will also have a Percy Jackson video coming relatively soon, before the next episode drops. But, enough about that. Let us talk about AEW World's End, which happened last night. I thought it was a really, really good show. Especially the C2 matches, which we are going to talk about here in a little bit. But first, we do have some pre-show matches to talk about, or 0-hour matches to talk about. Sisters of Sin beat Hyan and Maya World by pinfall, so I got one right on my predictions. Eddie Kingston beat Zach Gibson of the Grizzled Young Vets. Afterwards, Ortiz made his return to AEW and is siding with Eddie Kingston. Mascara Dorada and Bandito defeated the Don Callis family, represented by Mark Davis and Rocky Romero. And in your party match for the pre-show, we had Jet Speed and Jurassic Express versus Josh Alexander and The Demand, Ricochet, Bishop Khan, Toa Liona, with Jack Perry actually pinning Ricochet in this matchup. Which then led to the announcement on the show proper that Jack Perry was going to get a national title match against Ricochet for this upcoming New Year's Smash episode of Dynamite. So be sure, looking forward to that. The first match that opened up the show, and I couldn't believe they were opening up with this, was Okada versus Takeshita in the first of the Continental Classic semifinal matchups. This was a really good match to kick off the show. Just lots of good back and forth between the both of them. Takeshita showing that he might have a little step up above Okada, but of course Okada, the seasoned tournament veteran, just able to take control of immediately. Both guys are, I don't know if Takeshita kicked out of a Rainmaker, because again, it's been a while since I've watched the show, but I know for a fact that Okada kicked out of Takeshita's bicycle knee, which is absolutely insane. Towards the tail end of the match, things are getting chaotic. Okada goes to a corner and he pulls out a screwdriver, which of course is the Don Callis family's signature weapon. Okada and Takeshita go back and forth. Okada is able to hit Takeshita with that screwdriver and is able to pick up the pin afterwards. So Okada moves on to the finals and he disposes of the evidence afterwards. I definitely think that this is going to lead to a Takeshita face turn for sure, but it could very well also lead to another man's face turn as we go straight into the other semifinal match in the C2, Jon Moxley versus Kyle Fletcher. Fletcher definitely the aggressor in this matchup, which is surprising because, Moxley known for his brawling, but also his technical side. But throughout this C2, he has been getting more and more cautious of a potential leg injury, which Fletcher worked over a lot of in the matchup. But Moxley was just able to keep kicking out. He even kicked out of Fletcher's kick in the corner brainbuster combo, which surprised me. In the end, though, Moxley's trying to get the Bulldog choke locked in, but Fletcher was able to break. He goes over to the exact same corner where Okada was to try and find the screwdriver, but it's not there. And Fletcher's getting real nervous, getting real scared. They go back and forth a little bit more, but eventually Moxley is able to hit a Death Rider on Fletcher. There's a kick out there, but he immediately gets him in the Bulldog choke, and Kyle passes out. Moxley moves on to the final, which I was not expecting in the slightest. Yes, I was thinking that Okada was going to, potentially cheat out both of his other Don Callis family members in this tournament, but I wasn't expecting Fletcher to lose his semifinal match. So that is my first wrong prediction on the night. But I do like the story that they told, in which not only Okada screwed over Takeshita by cheating in their match, but inadvertently also screwed over Fletcher for taking away his means of trying to get to the final, which I thought was a really cool story that they told. Moving on to the Chicago Street Fight for the tag titles, FTR versus the Bang Bang Gang, represented by Juice Robinson and Austin Gunn. I might have said Colton Gunn in my predictions, but I'm correcting that here. This was a all-out, just absolute fun matchup, full of all sorts of scary bumps, mainly from the guys of FTR. But also, there were some scary stuff from Bang Bang Gang as well. Like, Austin Gunn strapped a trash can lid to his back and tried to hit Cash with a running attack, but he just got flung over the Spanish announce table. At another point, Austin is laying up on a table, propped up against the guardrail. Cash goes for a dive, and both of them just looked like they had a horrible landing. And the man that took probably the worst bump of the night was the manager. Stokely was on the apron. He gets knocked off. He tries to go through the table, but he misses, and it just looked like it was absolutely horrible, that bump. Juice gets locked in. I think it might be a figure four leg lock. It might have been something else, but he grabs the fire extinguisher that Austin had gotten, breaks it up by spraying the extinguisher into Dax's face, tries to make a comeback, but it's just not enough. Juice gets hit with big rig, a spike pile driver onto the trash can. That's not enough. One more spike pile driver on the tag title for the Road, and that gets FTR the win and the retention of their tag team titles. Moving from the men's tag titles to the women's tag titles, the Babes of Wrath in their first defense against some pretty formidable challengers. The team that they actually beat in the women's tag title tournament, Mercedesmone, current TBS champion, and Athena, who the broadcast mentioned that she is over 1,100 days as ROH Women's Champion, which is insane. This had a lot of good back and forth between both teams. Monet and Athena, absolutely awesome in this match, especially when Athena was in the ring with Willow. Athena's agility mixed with Willow's power. I need that match yesterday. Legitimately. I want to see them actually wrestle in a singles match. Like, that was awesome. And then, of course, you have Harley, just natural, radiant charisma, shining some light in this matchup. There was one point where Monet, I think, was hitting a slingshot on Athena, and I think it was Harley in the ring, and Athena turns it into a mini O face, which I thought that was really cool. By the end, everyone's just, trying to hit their finishing move on one another. In the end, though, it is Willow Nightingale not winning with a Dr. Bomb, but actually winning with a technical pin on Mercedesmone. The Babes of Wrath retain their women's tag titles, and Mercedes has not had a very strong end to 2025. Not only did she lose her women's title match at Full Gear, she lost her ROH TV Championship to Red Velvet at Final Battle, lost her Rev Pro Championship to Alex Windsor when they were over in Manchester, and now she's not won the women's tag titles. And later on in the show, she was furious backstage, and she basically invited Willow to challenge her for the TBS title for New Year's Smash, which is a match that we are getting. Granted, I do think that Mercedes is going to retain her championship in that match. It'd be cool if she lost it, like further the downfall story, but I think Mercedes is probably going to end up retaining that. Moving on to Darby Allin versus Gabe Kidd. This match was physical from the word go. Of course, Darby's going to be an absolute madman, taking bumps that just look absolutely horrifying, getting ricocheted off the post, getting slingshotted up into the stairs, and Gabe Kidd is an absolute just machine. He's a crazy machine, but he is a machine nonetheless. Turns out that this match was the bloodiest on the night, and there were 2 Jon Moxley matches on this card. So that was very, very surprising. Just a lot of blood from both these guys. In the end, though, Darby hits a coffin drop not only inside of the ring, but also to the outside of the ring, which I thought he was going to miss and just eat all sorts of, crap on the floor. But he did hit that coffin drop to the outside, hits one more on the inside, and wins the match via pinfall, which was absolutely insane. Like, I was not expecting the amount of blood in this matchup, but holy moly did it add something to the matchup. Now we move on to the Mixed Nuts Mayhem match, 8-person action. The Deathriders of Marina Shafir, Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, and Danny Garcia take on Tony Storm, Roderick Strong, and the Conglomeration, represented by TNT champion Mark Briscoe and Orange Cassidy. This was, your party match for the main show. Just a lot of fun sequences. I'm going to point out some. Orange Cassidy and Marina Shafir doing the hands in the pockets thing. Orange Cassidy and Timeless Tony Storm doing the tango in the middle of the ring while still hitting offense on the Deathriders. Deathriders just hitting continuous move after move after move with like multiple people in the corner. It was absolutely insane. But in the end, though, The babyface team was the one that ended up with the win after Wheeler Yuta got hit with a J driller and was pinned. So that was my second wrong prediction on the night. Funny enough, all of my predictions revolving around deathriders were wrong in this instance. And after the match, Mina Shirakawa and Luther came out to celebrate with the babyface team standing tall. We then move on to the women's title match, Krisstatlander versus Jamiehayter. This one was also physical from the word go. Just both women showing off, that they have the power game. Both of them on their side. I would say that Statlander has a bit more the agility than Hayter, but Hayter is no slouch in that department either. Just really good back and forth. Each one of them trying to hit each other's finishers. Statlander does hit Haterade on Hayter, and Hayter also hits Saturday Night Fever on Chris. But in the end, though, Chris Statlander was able to hit Saturday Night Fever on Hayter with also a Haterade as well to pick up the win and retain her AEW Women's title. We now move on to the finals of the Continental Classic. Jon Moxley, who has had to fight and scratch and claw his way to every single victory in this tournament, taking on Kazuchika Okada, a man who is has stumbled in the tournament, but has more or less cheated his way into this position. Once again, the target of the match is Moxley's injured leg, but Moxley is not going to say no. He's not going to tap out. He's just going to, he's going to give it, and he's going to take it as well. Towards the tail end of the matchup, Moxley actually kicked out of a Rainmaker, which was surprising. I thought once Okada hit that Rainmaker, it was done, but no. He kicked out of that Rainmaker, which surprised me. In the end, though, Moxley hit a Death Rider on Okada. Okada kicked out of, I think, at 1. But then Moxley hit him with an elevated Death Rider and pinned Okada to win the 2025 Continental Classic, which, third wrong prediction on the night. And I, again, was not expecting that. Was not expecting that at all. And maybe that is the reason as to why they didn't want to have the unified title be the prize for the C2, because maybe they still want Okada to be international champion, but now Moxley is continental champion. And afterwards, Moxley cuts this very impassioned promo saying, this belt belongs to, everyone that worked their ass off in this tournament. It belongs to my teammates who have supported me, and it belongs to every single one of you. This is where the best, bust their ass and put in the work, do the time, and get better. And this right here is a symbol of just how far I've come. Really good babyface promo by Moxley, and it might just have been me, but I was noticing the glances of the other Death Riders. They're not fully on board with this. Like, they're supporting him as of now, but my assumption is that turn is definitely going to be coming in the very near future. Which then brings us to our main event, the 4-way for the AEW Championship. Samoajoe defending against Hangman Page, Swervestrickland, and MJF, who cashed in his Casino Gauntlet contract to be a part of this matchup. Just really good combination work between everyone in this matchup. Like, Hangman and Joe got time to wrestle each other. Joe and Swerve got time to wrestle each other. Swerve and MJF got time to wrestle each other. MJF and Page got time to wrestle with each other. It's like just really good combination work between everyone. Nice ebb and flow of, like, some people are in, some people are out, stuff like that. Swerve and Hangman doing tag team spots to deal with Joe and MJF. But sure enough, the Ops come out and just wreck shop with everyone. But the Ops are then sent to the back. Joe looks like he has it won with a muscle buster, but that is not to be the case. Joe tries to lock in the coquina clutch, but Swerve hits a swerve stomp. And it looks like he's going to go for another swerve stomp off the top, but MJF cuts that off. And he hits a heat seeker on Joe, but that's not able to get enough. Hangman Page hits one buckshot, two buckshots, and he tries to go for a third. But once he tries to go for that third one, MJF hoofs Page right in the balls, and hits another heat seeker on Samoa Joe, and pins and wins. MJF is your new AEW World's Champion, and I end my night 7-3 in my predictions, which I think is pretty good. And of course, Hangman is celebrating while the rest of the competitors are flummoxed as to what happened. We are going to hear from MJF as the new AEW champion on Dynamite. So yeah, AEW ends out the year with a really solid pay-per-view outing with some really good matches, really good storylines, especially in the C2. And it was just a fun show overall. Had something for pretty much everyone on the night. So yeah, that is pretty much it in terms of my wrestling coverage on the year. If you guys have not already, I highly recommend you check out my 2 videos that I posted on Christmas Eve and Christmas. Every entrant in the women's and men's Royal Rumble matches. I think you will get a real treat out of those. But yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of my wrestling coverage on the year. I will see you guys next year, where we will kick things off with the Saturday night's main event a week before the Royal Rumble. But until then, guys, be safe out there, and I will catch you guys next time.